We were really hoping to see tablets.
I mean, a lot of people.
Well, actually, I was hoping to see tablets that were in production, not just prototypes that were going to be out sometime later this year.
I know, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of the stuff that I saw was non-functional.
Actually, Motorola Zoom is supposed to be coming out pretty soon.
It comes out, and this is being
First
shot.
quarter.
This is being shot in January. It's supposed to be out in it's okay. As I understand, the Motorola Zoom was supposed to be out at Super Bowl time so people could watch the Super Bowl on Motorola Zoom tablets. But it's not going to be out until the middle of the month. When it means it's already screwed up their advertising campaign. So.
I know, because they already built the campaign around it.
Yeah, built a campaign around the Zoom, and Zoom's not going to be available. So there was, while there were cell phones, there wasn't as much emphasis on cell phones this year as in the past. So there's a lot of emphasis on apps.
A lot about emphasis on apps. 4G LTE, which is the Verizon press conferences.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of 4G that's coming out as far as cell phones. Regardless of what carrier you're with.
Yeah, and then the problem with Motorola split divisions before CES.
Oh, did they?
So basically, you in a sense you don't know what you're supposed to be talking about because Motorola is the communications division is no longer connected to the electronics division. So, and the electronics division is there, and the Motorola is there, but it's I also saw things which I hadn't seen before, which is basically
what's that?
What was it? Hyundai was.
You know what? That was really unusual. We were not expecting that one.
Yeah. Hyundai is now Hyundai is there pushing the fact that Hyundai builds everything from beginning to end. They have the factories in Korea. They build the whole.
Hyundai's a huge company. You're not used to seeing them in consumer electronics. In fact, that was one of the companies that one of the other media people told me that I should stop by and. It was the last day, so we were trying to do the rest of the interviews.
I did go.
Oh, did you get to see it?
Yeah, I went through Hyundai. Oh. Yeah. I did go through, which I thought I'm looking at all of the things that Hyundai's steel factories, Hyundai's plastic works, Hyundai's electronics works, Hyundai's this, Hyundai's that. I mean, it's just a whole thing built to Hyundai, and they had their car. They had one of the brand new Hyundais sitting there on the floor, which we saw over at the LA Auto Show. That was sitting on the floor, but. It was a nice exhibit. It was stuck over there, all in a corner, I think, over there somewhere around the Adobe exhibit. So, we also, well, you got to talk to the Sony people. Actually, here's a good one for Sony. Here's one. We got one of our cameras damaged massively before we did the Sony interview.
No, was it after?
Yeah, was that before you did the
actually
Sony?
It was before.
Yeah. So we were trying to do the Sony interview with a camera that we didn't know wasn't functioning right at the moment. We had well, it's not like you can go out and get your 3D camera fixed overnight.
No.
So, but the company that did damage the camera was nice enough to say, well, they would replace the camera with one of their own, which would mean they just wanted to get rid of this. Just wanted to get our Panasonic equipment. But,
actually, Sony did an entire remake of their booth this year.
Yeah.
I mean, entire booth.
Designed to feature 3D.
Yeah.
But,
and that one was really cool because, see, part of it is that the Sony booth, typically, well, you'll see them on stage and they had an area, right? So you could watch high def and everything was kind of dark and low lit, so you could see. Well, this time, the total opposite. It's all white, bright, this huge screen across. I mean, you felt like you were at a movie theater.
Yeah, that's because they opened up with the Green Hornet.
Oh, yeah, in 3D.
In 3D.
Well, actually, the movie's in 3D. They were not in 3D. I guess they were in 3D.
Yeah, no, they're being shown in 3D on 3D cameras. That's because Sony does make a lot of professional 3D equipment, but we didn't make anything about their press conference. I'm getting to the point where I'm coming on the screen dancing behind Elvis Presley, and some guy falls over my equipment, and I didn't get me on the Sony screen. I recognized the dance sequence in it. I got my camera on, and right there, right before, I'm starting to pop up in the dance number. And of
course, I turned my head because the other person was falling.
Yeah, he busted, hit me in the face with the camera too. So, but it was something totally. We're used to to Sony being like in a dark dungeon.
No, it's dark low lit to optimize the HD.
Yeah, but this year it was done. I mean, they're in the same spot every year, but it was just not like Sony. I mean, it's just like it was a total character change for them to do something out there. Because I always say that you know that a lot of equipment shown at shows can't stand the light of day.
You know what I saw at Sony that was really kind of cool? Of course, besides the 3D camera, the 3D vlogging, was also the 3D video camera that has a projector screen on it.
Yeah, that one more or less probably will be a manufactured item.
That one's a fun one. I mean, Nikon came out with a camera that could do that. But Sony for video, that one was kind of cool.
Yeah, so it works. I mean, I think AT&T tried their phone projector and that went nowhere. But this one should go somewhere because Sony does do good camera. We've got a brand new Sony camera coming from 2 or 3 days from now. It's all paid for and being shipped to us. That one does 3D also.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to that one.
So, you know, and we paid for the camera ourselves. So it's just the same thing as we paid for our Panasonic, we paid for the other camera. Every camera that we have, other than the Sony Vloggies, we have paid for.
Well, part of it is we want to we decide which ones we want based on what they're supposed to be capable of and the specs, and we want the camera. Yeah. We don't just want to do a review of it.
We don't want to return the camera. I mean, we were given, the Sony people were nice enough to give us a couple of their brand new Sony Vloggies, and we have used them everywhere. I mean, we've used them at the beach, we've used them at events, at the LA Auto Show. While I'm filming a press conference in front of me, I'm standing with a lot of the other photographers shooting the back of the room with our, almost every television cameraman basically has a camera in his pocket so they can shoot other stuff. But you don't need to be manning, first of all, you know, the camera's on, and it's fixed focal length. You don't have to really stand and look at it. You just sit there and go.
Set it up, leave it there.
And then you have your earphones. You're sitting there. You turn the earphones this way, and you're shooting. You know, that way you know. You know, you're listening to earphones. If something changes, oh, back there. But there's some swish pans when you hear that. Oops. You see all the people at the same time. I mean, you got a lot of photographers, the other cameraman next to you as everybody's shifting without being able. They don't turn the cameras off. They just turn back to their big cameras. So, but you know, it just CES this year. It did have. It is back to the days when it had a god-awful amount of people.
You know, there were so many people those first couple days.
Oh, God, we're standing on one another.
I went to Last Gadget Standing, and one of the trivia questions was how many people had come through the doors in the first 2 days of CES.
Yeah.
And it was 134,000 people.
Yeah.
And so usually on the first days when it's overly crazy, it's like it's practically impossible to meet with companies.
Oh, we had a problem with sound. I mean, we've got good sound equipment, but even with the individual handheld mics, trying to get those things. I mean, the sound.
Well, you know, you virtually have to hold it up to their mouth. You know, like when you see them talking, you have to hold it up to their mouth.
And we went to our we have a good directional mic. There was just too much ambient noise in all the rooms. You know, so. Yeah, like for the second year in a row, that mic's been busted, though, which is funny.
I know. Can you believe that?
2 years in a row, we've had the mic broke.
Well, and it's not okay. The first year, oh yeah, somebody ran into us.
Yeah.
Oh, the second year, somebody hit me with the camera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then this year, yeah, I mean, it busted the
windscreen.
The windscreen, which I'll fix, but it still broke the windscreen on the camera, so it made it unusable. Well, because you got to filter sound. It's just like I said. It's just like I said. I put, you know, these things on in the hallway so I could kill the sound of the tens of thousands of people going by you. They were going by.
I know. It's like everybody's going like.
Yeah.
There's no moving fast because that first day, it's like everybody's missing their appointments.
You couldn't get to where you were going.
You couldn't get to them, and everybody's running like. Although I think next year. I know I will probably regret this, but next year, like if Intel opens up their booth early, before the day, I mean, because part of it is we're out the night before at events.
Yeah.
It's like I think on the first day of the show, we really need to go and hit the floor before the show. Before the show opens.
I know, but here's the thing: is what I was talking about. We've got an invitation to go to see digital signage in Las Vegas in February. where the press is getting like a 3-hour tour of the facilities.
Oh, really?
Before. You know, it's like in the morning, and to get to talk to like, 6 to a dozen vendors are going to be talking.
Well, part of it is I really like that because you actually get a feel for it beforehand. Because the other way you get a feel for it with everybody there, but you can kind of get a preview and you can talk and ask questions.
We've been lucky on one of the events we went to. We actually got a guided tour of the facility a day before.
We did at CES when they were still setting it up.
Yeah, they walked us through everything. We got to see everything, and they told us how to get to where we're going. We're walking by to setups and watching everything, which was really neat to see all these people doing that. Then the next year, basically, they run us through the hallway in the back. But I think going through the building was a real experience to see what this stuff looked like before.
Well, I am always amazed. I mean, I don't know how long it takes to set it up, but it is an enormous show. And a lot of those booths, for example, like a major company like Sony, Panasonic, Toshiba, their booths are huge.
They really sunk money into their booths.
And yes, they use the booths year after year and trade show to trade show, but they don't always have the same size footprint from one show to the next.
The footprint, I think Panasonic and I know some of the companies this year had a massive footprint compared to the past years that I've seen them there. Yeah. So it's just so it is basically all new signage for them. And that stuff has to go down in half the time that it took to go up. It's just got to come down overnight. It can take 2 or 3 days to put up, but it comes down overnight.
Yeah.
You see the semi-trucks parked everywhere waiting to load that stuff in. So it's all in all, I mean, that I wish there'd have been more Tinker toys to play with than there was available, but,
and this year, I mean, before we've had a lot of paper. This year, this is the collection of USB drives.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff in the press room for things.
Yeah, we got this. Well, they have an online press kits, which actually is real convenient. But I always like to keep these hard copies because.
Oh yeah, we keep from year to year.
Well, this is for example, this is in my collection. This is CES 2011. Yeah. So Samsung's looks. Actually, you can kind of see.
Which I really hate those things. They will not work on every computer. I mean, I have.
See Pioneer's Key.
Yeah, Pioneer's Key. So, but just like I said, we're very grateful. But next year we think we're gonna. Next year we do think we're probably gonna. Okay, this year was something different. People bought places on the floor to set up equipment to do reporting from. We think that next year. What we're probably going to do is to buy ourselves a spot so that we can bring people over to us and basically control the situation better. Yeah. Because that was smart. I did see a lot of people that had basically carved out little like one guy's got a portable backdrop behind like a three thing, and he's sitting there doing his interviews with that. Another had several of them sitting. They over by one of the Central Hall. It would have been South Hall because they go down. But they've got these little things stuck out where where stairways used to be, and they're operating on both sides of the stairways with tables, chairs, and stuff, and doing interviews. And some other people over by I think it was the Panasonic booth have got a huge wall of it was Bloomberg I think had a huge wall where they were doing their stuff over there. NBC just buys a spot in the floor, and NBC does everything from one spot.
Yeah, and you can see them.
Yeah, so but I think that's what we intend to do next year is simply buy a spot so that we can have someplace central rather than to fight everybody to get everything, that we can just simply invite people to come over there and talk too. So, but it just makes sense.
A lot easier.
Yeah, so but those are the things, the innovation and stuff we've seen. Actually, the place is far better lit than I've ever seen a place.
Yeah, that's true. But one of the things about everything that we see at CES, we cover tech all the time, so you will see updates. We'll be talking about more products. Developments that are going, especially the two main areas, which is 3D as well as on the tablet area.
Well, because we are.
And cameras.
We now have privilege to more because we are both registered tech enthusiasts.
I know. It's like, I wish I could have gone over there. I was busy doing interviews.
I do have a card that says I have a little, and my pass that, the tech enthusiasts got to go into the whole bloody thing for the last day. They also had special areas set off just for them. Actually, they had better stuff than the press room did, folks.
Oh. And I was in the opposite end of the hall.
I know, but I did call.
So, and he called, but I was trying to get the rest of the interviews done before they closed.
I know, so she couldn't get over there. But I only saw it because the last day of every show we do, I shoot the floor. This year I shot the floor with a 360 camera. And I come out the rear end, and as I'm coming back through the North Hall, it says Tech Enthusiast, you know. So I go over, and you know, and they said, well, you're a member of the press, you already get everything. I know, but we're also, they said, yeah, you know, I mean, you're one of the few members of the press that actually are a member of the Tech Enthusiast. You get deals on equipment and stuff.
I know.
They had a...
I have to go back and look at their page. I know, that's the cool part.
Yeah, so they talk about what's coming up, you know, because it's just like, as you know, there was a lot of geeks in their room when I went in there, but they had soft drinks in there, and soft drinks, and little munchies, and nice cushion chairs. We had cushion stuff in the press room, but basically, though, you know, it's just, if you got in them, you basically inhabited until somebody else is working with you, come and inhabited the seat also, so. But it was a nice little room for the people to go into.